What am I in today? Well, I got a big smile on my face because thanks to the good folks over at BMW Autohaus, thank you so much, Greg and the rest of the team, Alex, Omar, Kirk, John, and not to mention my BMW delivery specialist, Andre Podiano, who actually showed me a really great walk around on the car, which I really am thankful for. So if you want to learn a little bit more about a car like this or any of the other BMWs over at BMW Autohaus, you can see here actually in the showroom, not as only is it a massive showroom, but you'll also see downstairs as you walk through, they have a whole indoor pre-owned showroom. Like you can come in, you don't, if it's raining outside, whatever, everything is kept in here. And I gotta say, some of these BMWs do not look pre-owned in any way, shape, or form. One of the things I did before we got going today on the drive was I parked it right beside, or I parked my own personal Corvette right beside the new 850. And one of the things I definitely want to show is the difference in size to my C7 Corvette to this 850. So here's the thing. I think this is one of those vehicles whereby when the sales rep says you really got to see it in person, you really do have to see this car in person, because I mean, look at the difference in the size of these two cars. But interestingly enough, when you look at them at first, they're both two doors, but one is a 2+2, which is the one I'm in, has back seats. My Corvette does not have any back seats. But remarkably, you'll notice actually the distance or the difference from the front noses of the car. The rears of these cars are perfectly aligned, and you can see the front nose of my Corvette is very, very, very low and flat, and you have a really big front end on the 850. Part of that's for a number of different reasons. There's also a big engine up front here, which happens to be a V8. It's a 4.4 liter, what they'll refer to as a hot V, and it's called a hot V because in the middle of the V are where the twin turbos reside. And what do you get out of that? Well, out of that you get 523 horsepower at 5,000 or about 5,500 RPM, something like that. And then, but you do get 533 foot-pounds of torque as early as 1846, and like all the way up to about 4,500 RPM. That just goes to show you the power, the technology that goes into a twin turbo V8 at BMW. Because on top of that, the combined fuel economy on a 523 horsepower V8 2+2 coupe is actually 11.5 liters per 100 kilometer. So yeah, that's what this car is all about. It's all about the technology. And the one thing I really love about BMWs is they're very much a driver's car. You approach the car, it's hot and sunny outside. You may not want to start the car, but you just want to put the windows down and freshen up the interior before you get inside. This car's got all the bells and whistles I need, of course. But God, this interior, and PS as well. This car, I should say, not only, it's in the relative shape of my Corvette, but a car like the Corvette and a car like this one here are the numbers. 6.2 liter on my Corvette, naturally aspirated. This is a 4.4 liter V8. Both are V8s. One's twin turbo, mine is not. Mine also has an 8-speed automatic. This also has an 8-speed automatic. I gotta say, all of those things are drastically different in the real world. And that's why it's so important you go and have a really good test drive in your BMW, especially if you haven't driven one, or maybe your BMW is a couple generations older, like a few have come by. You need to drive the next model, because this drives nothing like my Corvette. It's just as dialed in, but at the same time, even though there's all this power and I can hear it has a really lovely throaty exhaust, I can definitely tell this car, as comfortable as it is right now, and how well it took the roads, or the streets kind of got a bit of construction on it, leaving the dealership. I gotta say, my Corvette does not handle those bumps and bruises in the road like this car does. But this is a wholly different car. It's bigger, it's heavier, front to back. When you look at the car, I think it's a very, very good looking car. I mean, I really like the look of the car. I think this interior is gorgeous. I mean, when you look around on the interior from the driver perspective, it's just a lovely place to look at. Like, I mean, everything you look at in this interior, the sort of pewters, the stitching, got this lovely suede liner across the top, like Alcantara, and this beautiful carbon fiber weave that BMW just does such a great job with. And then you have this, like, I guess you have the power of Kal-El here with the crystal gear knob, because it is definitely kind of interesting, and there's sort of a laser etched 8 logo on the inside of it that kind of ends up getting refracted by all the angles and stuff. It's just such a pretty car. And BMW has always done a great job of making the interiors feel very touchable, and all of this interior is very touchable. The steering wheel, I know some people complain about the chunkiness of the steering wheels from BMW. Some of the M wheels get too chunky. Well, I don't know. I got big hands. I really like a good, strong, thick wheel, something I can hold on to. But yeah, everything in this car is so advanced, and BMW's always advanced. I used to tell people about putting those windows down, or I'd open up the door on a sashless door like we have here on this coupe, and you could see the door slip. Well, my Corvette does that now. It didn't do it in the past, but those are little tricks that have been in the cars at BMW for years. So what is it that you get with all of that? This is what you get. You get this. You get motorsport. Now, this shows my age because I was selling BMWs back when it was BMW Sauber Petronas. But yeah, this is what you buy when you get a BMW. You know, race on Sunday, sell on Monday is not necessarily something we talk about, but this is what you get when you buy a BMW. And one of the things I always like to share to my clients when I was selling cars is all those little details that make your BMW yours. This seat can adjust in 20-something different ways. And then I'm gonna program it, so every time that I get in this car, it's gonna hug me, and it's gonna put everything in the place that I want it to. Other things like, to me, again, all the little details that you don't see in the engineering. The side mirrors are gonna keep this side window clean. There's gonna be a water line that runs, a trough that runs all the way to the back. And when you drive your BMW or this 850 in the pouring rain, you're gonna notice that the side glass is actually quite dry, and you'll see some channels of water going out the back of the car. You'll also notice little flarings and little things on the exteriors of the car. All of those do things on this car, as with any BMW. You're looking at the big holes in the front of the car, all that big mouth. Well, each and every little hole there does something. It's either drafting air to the brakes, drafting air under the car. Again, all of this stuff comes from all that knowledge that BMW has. And then on top of that, they have people working day and night making sure all this other stuff works so well. And as you can see here, Andre's showing me all the cool functionality that not only you can use the manual adjustments for, but as you can see here, he's pressed the speak button, and all of the stuff that he's doing here, he's doing by speaking. And then you can see the hand gestures. Now, being an Italian, I usually love to talk with my hands, so I don't think I'd be able to own this car with this feature on, but I just think it's so fantastic. Would I use it? I don't know. Actually, when I get in my car, I kind of put on Sirius and I listen to Howard Stern. I don't know. I don't really change it too much, but hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing. My thing with a BMW is definitely all the settings. I know a lot of people out there don't care for all the settings, but all the settings are what allow you to tailor this vehicle to exactly what you want. And if you want to buy an M850 just to have the BMW M name, you can do that if you want, because right now I'm just driving down a street that's about a 60-kilometer zone, and this car feels actually just like a great cruising car. And then all of a sudden, if you feel like it, you can put your foot down and all hell breaks loose in the quietest, most lovely way possible. Listen to that. Oh, I'm already at the speed limit, so I gotta stop. So this is just so wild. Really got to thank my great clients over at BMW Autohaus for loaning me this beautiful BMW for the Tuesday test drive. But we got a lot of other great cars on the channel. Going to see a bunch more BMWs in the next little while, so that's not a bad thing. But if there's other vehicles you'd like to see, feel free to comment, and of course, like, share, subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you soon.